Welcome back to Food Technology. This lesson we're going to be looking at food presentation and food garnishing using fruit and vegetables. So I'm going to show you how to do some simple and then progressively harder food garnishes using hopefully fruit and vegetables you've got at home. So attached to this video on class charts there's also going to be the separate PowerPoint instructions for each garnish. I'm going to start with the easiest, which is triangle twisties, and then move on to tomato fan. I think the file might be strawberry fan. I've got a cucumber wave and a carrot twisty or carrot swirl. And the most tricky one, those of you that are finding this really easy or really good, have good knife skills, got an apple swan here. That's probably the hardest one, so I'll leave that one till the end. Okay, so I'm going to change my chopping board from a salad green chopping board to a white one purely because it's easier to see what I'm doing. You're going to need a sharp knife, and our first garnish was going to be the triangle twisty. So you need a length of triangle. This is really simple, and you need to put it upright. I've already taken a slice off there for my demonstration, my example there, but all you need to do is try and find a section of the edge that's relatively flat. Make sure you've washed your hands before you do this as well. So what you need to do, you're going to be working with the edge of this. Make sure you've got your knife the right way up. Okay, make sure it's on a flat, stable chopping board. So you need to take a section, and it's mainly to do with that edge part of the cucumber. Okay, that's the part that you're going to be working with. So you're going to cut straight back down. You're not going to use this for now, so we're going to put that to one side. So we have our edge piece. Okay, so it's sort of looking like that sort of shape. And you need to make two cuts, one going there and one going there. On the PowerPoint that's attached to this for the triangle twisties, it's a lot easier to see than what I'm doing, but you need to cut one here. Make sure you don't cut all the way to the end. So I'm going to do one cut there. So it's still attached. I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, not cutting through all the way to the end. Okay, so I'm going to put the knife there and cut down. So we've got a sort of zigzag shape. And all you're going to do is to hopefully twist it and be able to get it to, you might need to wrestle it a little bit or adjust your triangle. It should stay in place. Okay, it's just like a little triangle twizzly decoration for a plate. Okay, so that's the triangle twisty. The next one I'm going to show you is the tomato fan, strawberry fan. You can use any sort of round, softish fruit or vegetable for this. And all you're going to do, make sure you've got the top half there, put it on its side. Okay, and this area is the area we are not going to be chopping through. Okay, and all we're going to do, I start in the middle using my bridge hold. Okay, we're going to cut all the way through, but I've not cut through the top bit, so this bit is still attached. And I'm going to go as finely as I can with my slices now, all the way through the tomato. And on the other side as well. Okay, and then all you do, if you've got all the pieces still attached, you just very gently start to spread them out like a fan. Okay, so it works really well with any sort of round, soft fruit. So that's your strawberry fan there. Okay, just give my board a bit of a wipe down. The next one is the carrot swirl. Okay, so you will need a carrot, and you're also going to need a vegetable peeler for this one. So I had to have quite a few goes before I could get quite a decent flat piece of carrot. You need a piece of carrot like this. The instructions say to actually soak it into salted water, and what that does, it makes your carrot piece a little bit more softer and a little bit more pliable, a bit more malleable. You can actually move it later on. And you're going to make a shape like that. Now, I'm not going to zoom in, but what you do need to do, and you're going to need to look at the instructions on the PowerPoint as well, you're making little slices inside there, lots of parallel cuts, but you're not cutting through all the way to the edge. And it's very tricky not to do that. I've had to do it quite a few times. So you need to do slices very, very close together, but not all the way through to the edge. So you need to leave a couple of millimeters at either end, because when you pick it up and twist it, it should hold together and form a lovely swirl shape. So let's see, doesn't always work. Okay, you end up with a lovely sort of swirly fan shape, and you can sort of secure that with a little bit of a cocktail stick, something like that, as a garnish. Okay, so that's the carrot swirl. The next one is the cucumber wave. Okay, so you need half a cucumber. Okay, and you need to make sure it's cut at a bit of an angle, like this. So half a cucumber, and the ends are cut at an angle, and you're going to need something like, I think in the instructions there's cocktail sticks as well. I'm going to use the ends of 2 knives, and what that's going to do is when I'm cutting down, it's going to stop my knife slicing all the way to the base. So a bit like the carrot swirl, I'm going to be slicing lots and lots of parallel lines very close together, this time all the way through, but not all the way down. Okay, so I'm using my claw grip. If you're not sure about any of these, I would start on the triangle twisty. If you can't do this, you haven't got access to the equipment at home, I would just write up the instructions. That is perfectly acceptable as well. So fan those out, use a cocktail stick, something like that, to hold the cucumber in position, but you end up with a really nice cucumber wave there. Okay, so have a practice at some of those. Some of them do make a difference if you soak the vegetable in salted water previously. Right, the most difficult one, if you are looking for a challenge, okay, the apple swan. I soaked my apple pieces in lemon juice as well to stop them going brown for the demonstration. This is very, there are lots and lots of steps involved in here. Okay, so you're going to need an apple, a sharp knife, and we're going to need our table knives again. Okay, so the first step you've got to do is to take about this much off our apple, just straight down. Make sure it's sitting on our stalk end so it's not rolling about too much. We're just going to take that piece off. I'm actually going to soak that in some lemon juice so it doesn't go brown. Now I'm going to put that to one side. I'm actually going to take a little bit more off there. We will use that later on. Okay, so we'll put those to one side. Now we're going to use our kitchen knives. Okay, and that's going to, just like with the cucumber wave, that's going to stop us cutting all the way down. Now I need to turn my apple so the stalk end is that way round. Okay, so you've got the end of it, the apple there, and the stalk end there. So the cut side is flat down, it's not going to roll anywhere, it's not going anywhere. The middle of the apple is here, that's where the stalk is inside. So you're going to position your knife about here, not in the middle where the stalk is, just a little bit over to that side, and you're going to cut down. And obviously your knife is going to stop where the table knives are. Okay? And you need to take your knife out, and then from that width of the knife across, so it's about 0.5 centimetre up, you are very, very, very carefully cutting across. Okay, so that we have, that section has now come out. And you need to do the same to the other side. So we're going to miss that stalk part out. I'm going to chop down to the kitchen knives till we feel the resistance. And we're very going to carefully go across. Okay, so we have got two halves of our swan starting to appear. And then I'm going to actually move that one to one side. This is one side of our swan, and what you're going to do is do exactly the same sort of technique. So using our bridge hold, go down, go across, you might need a few apples to practice with this. Okay, so that's one. Let's put that one back in there for now. Exactly the same again. If you've got a very big apple, you might be able to do this a few times. Okay, so I've got one half of my swan wings starting to show there. Do the same, exactly the same on the other half. Bridge hold. Remember, Japanese food, they always take so much pride in their presentation, and their food is super healthy, so this ties in really well with our theme of what we've been doing. Okay, so we've got our apple swan body there. To do the head, what we're going to do, let's move our wings so they show off beautifully. Okay, all these instructions, remember, will be attached as part of the lesson. I think this might be a little bit narrow. I might be struggling to get the head in here, but in the instructions it will tell you to cut very carefully a rectangle shape out of here. Okay, and with the pieces that you started with, when you cut that first piece off the apple, we're going to cut this one in half. This might be a little bit thick, I might need to trim it down. This is going to be the head, so super carefully. Oh, I've snapped that bit, it's going to bend. Let's see if it'll work. Just make that a little bit thinner. Let's see if that'll go in. Basically that should slot in here. And you can, if you've got some apple pips or chocolate chips even, you could use those to put into the eye of the swan here. Okay, so that's our apple swan. You could use the apple pip and push it in there to form the eye of the swan. Have a go. Start with the triangle twisty. That's the easiest, most simplest one to do. See how you get on. Google it as well. You might end up with some other ideas that you could use for presentation of fruit and vegetables that ties in with our Japanese theme. If you're really struggling and you can't do this, just upload the instructions in a Word document describing some of the steps. But have a go, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on. Good luck.